Let's give Bruce another hand. All right, we're going to keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Workshop is I started self-acceptance. If I only started loving me before I started loving you. Next up, we have Kim W. out of Austin, Texas.
Your work, Kim.
I'm an addict. My name is Kim.
Hi, Kim.
I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be clean. I have been feeling ever since I've been here. And last Saturday, October 30th, I celebrated 13 years clean. And for that, I'm really, really, truly grateful. I've been through a lot in this process. They say that this is a best to yet to come process, and I truly, truly believe that it is. You know, I was looking at the topic when Alexia had first given it to me, and I kind of thought, like, you know, I can do a lot with that topic. Like, if I would have started loving me before loving you, you know, I can look at that in the areas of dealing with men. I can look at that in the areas of dealing with my family. I can look at that in the areas of dealing with my friends. I could look at that in just relationships, period. You know, the one that's most prevalent, of course, is the area of men. Kind of what Bruce was sharing is kind of like I started this process when I first got clean. And I remember my self-esteem was zero. And I remember going to a meeting, and I remember this like real fine brother saw me from across the room. And I remember it was a full meeting that night, and the treatment center had brought us to the meeting. And I remember this brother went from across the room and brought me his basic text. And when he brought me his basic text, you know, I mean, my self-esteem was zero. I didn't have a perm. I had acne all over my face. My confidence was zero. And when this man brought me his book, I turned around and I looked, and from that point, I went back to the treatment facility, obsessing about this brother, knowing that when I got out, that was going to be my mission. That was going to be my mission. And as a result, when I got out, I went back to that meeting, and he did not forget me. But I need to tell you that was the beginning of a very painful process for me. Now, and it was so painful that it didn't like start and end. It was like a 5-year process where this brother drugged me. I allowed him. He didn't drug me. I drugged myself in that relationship. I'm talking about I had all the signs of that this relationship was not for me, but I of myself did not have the tools or the power or the knowledge to absolutely do anything different. The best thing I did do was I just didn't pick up no dope. But I tell you, that was like a terrible situation. To speed it up, he was in a pretty bad accident. He was paralyzed from the chest down, and while I was living in denial and I kept making excuses for his behavior, he was unconscious for like 2 weeks. And for 2 weeks, his life just unfolded, and women were coming from everywhere, you know, to see this brother. I mean, women was flying out of the state to see this brother. And for 2 weeks, what I felt was happening was that he was unconscious, and he didn't have the opportunity to lie his way out of it. And to me, God had painted a picture for all of us that may have been in denial that who this brother was to all of us, which was nothing, right? But somewhere in the 11 steps, I'm going to paraphrase it, it's kind of like God will not force his goodness on us, right? Now, we had the story, but it was still our choice to make, right? So as a result, he came out paralyzed, but he still didn't choose me in a paralyzed state. So now I'm fast forwarded now, and I'm in a 4-step, and in the 4-step it talks about how under fear, it talks about we're afraid to feel so intensely that we kind of live this half life, right? And I'm paraphrasing that. And when I think about that, it's that although I know I don't want to put myself in a situation for another man to ever do me like that. Sometimes I'm like this with men. You know, it's like stop, come, right? Because I haven't forgot the experience that I had with that experience, right? But I don't want to cut myself off from possibly somebody that might mean me well, right? But in the process, what happens is I keep finding those same brothers that want to act the same way. But the good news is I know when to cut it off now. You know what I mean? It's like I'll start something, but I know when to end it. How about this? I know how to end it. You know, because I just refuse. How about this? Even having feelings, even like not wanting to end the situation. You know, just continuing and continuing on this process, because it's something about the situations that I put myself in. I will continue to mess with my own self-esteem and my own self-worth. And what I'm real careful with now is watching the things that I say to myself, watching the things that I do to myself, you know, because it's hard for me to bounce back and recover from that kind of stuff. It's really hard for me to come back after I've allowed somebody to like treat me like a goddamn cockroach. You know what I mean? That shit is hard. That shit is hard. And then I start to question myself, and then I have to call the brothers in the process to kind of build me back up, right? Because it's, how about this? It's something about a brother that can build me up when a woman can't build me up. I got women around me, you know, just like on my side and in my corner. But then I call my brothers and I go like, what is it? You know, and then, you know, Dave is like my really, really good friend. And sometimes I call him like, well, how do you play the game? I don't like fucking playing games. It's not about playing no game. You know, and then they told me, though, if you don't know how to play the game, if you gon' play the game, you got to know the rules, right? Well, I don't know the rules. That's why I always lose at the goddamn game. Because, see, I feel like I'm 45 years old and I'm a grown motherfucker, and I don't know why we got to play games. Let's just put shit out on the goddamn table. You know, if it's just sex, it's just sex. You know, if that's all it is, you know, but don't come to me talking about, you know, oh, baby, I want the finer things in life and I want what you want and you really don't want that. Well, what's all that about? But see, then I'm dumb and I got to figure it out. And I didn't figure it out after I didn't call feelings. You know what I mean? And I hate doing that. So with me, what happens is I just choose not to participate. And with that, I live a real lonely life, you guys. You know, and let me say this, you guys. You know, I don't have that much time, but I came here to say some things that I do not say at home. You know, I have a couple of friends that I talk to, and I open my insides out. You know, I have a sponsor that do not know some things about me at 13 years, and I know what this process is. I know what it can do for me. And it wasn't until I got down here and I was sitting on my balcony and I was looking at the water, and I'm like, what are all these secrets about? Because it's like killing me at 13 years. You know, it's like, and I know, you know, and in my sponsee family, we're talking about like the work is mine to do. You know, we got this thing where we say, quit fumbling around. You know, I'm in a 4-step and I'm writing, but it's not the writing, it's the work. It's me telling myself, yes. I mean, it's me telling myself no when I really want to say yes. You know, it's me walking away from a brother that's in my life that I know don't mean me no good. You know, it's me actually practicing the principles of this program. You know, and so, you know, what I was thinking about is like, in the third step, it says, this step is our commitment to our own emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. And what I was thinking about was how stressed out my life is, right? And I'm trying to like get real vulnerable right now, you guys. And I'm gonna talk about something I don't even talk about like at home, right? The beginning of this year, I suffered from a condition called alopecia. And what alopecia does, it attacks it's a stress disease that attacks the immune system, and it starts to mess with the hair follicles in my body. So wherever there's hair follicles, hair starts to fall out, right? So I used to have like this hair, I'm getting vulnerable now, y'all roll with me, right? I used to have like a hair full of head, right? A head full of hair, right? When women started switching over to wigs and weave, I went and got my hair fixed. I love my hair, right? And so I started getting these bald spots in my head, right? I need to tell y'all now, up under this wig, I am fucking bald-headed, right? But let me tell y'all something. I have, this disease has attacked places on my body where there is hair. There is now no hair. My legs, I haven't shaved my underarms in 5 months. I have pasted this right eyebrow on, right? And so what that said was, I quit seeing a dermatologist because I was paying her money to stop something that I should have control over. This is a stress disease that is attacking my body. Right? So that means that a dermatologist don't have medicine for it. My step process does. I just told y'all about the emotional part of this disease, right? So if I get with the emotional part, which is the stress, which is fucking with the physical, I might just be able to get with the spiritual, right? Because I need to take control of my body back. So how about this? So what is the stress about? What's going on with the stress? The stress is the fact that I have a 23-year-old son living with me, smoking weed in my garage every day. I have not shared this shit with nobody. I got my son in my house, smoking weed in my garage. And then when I don't want to deal with his bipolar ass, I go in my purse and I buy him marijuana. I haven't even told my sponsor that shit. I'm sitting up here, I'm living with this shit like right now as we speak. God has been so good to me in this process. I'm going to talk about some material shit, right? I just got a 4-bedroom house built. I'm a single woman. I got a 4-bedroom house built last year. I just bought a brand new car a couple of weeks ago. I've been on my job 12 years. I have a son that was recruited to the Iowa State football program. I have another son that's a senior, and we're about to visit Santa Clara because he's about to get a basketball scholarship. Then I have a daughter. They say this little heifer is a mini-me. And then, but I heard them when they said it, but on the plane, I started dissecting that shit. I said, that motherfucker is aggressive. She will not take no for an answer. She wants what she wants. She's hard-headed. She's manipulative. She's vindictive. She's mean. She's ornery. And when I put all them defects on her, that's who it was. And then check this out. I can't deal with her. So I'm trying to figure out how the fuck am I going to deal with me? I'm all fucked up. I'm trying to deal with this situation with my daughter that I have created. But how about this? So I got the job, I got the house, I got the kids, I even got a cute little dog named Sandy that I've had for 5 years, right? But y'all, when I lay down and go to bed at night, I am not comfortable at all. I cannot even sleep comfortably in my own house. I feel like I am running a house for homeless people. I take care of my 86-year-old grandmother. My brother lives with me, and he wants to dictate how much rent he pays me based on some shit he did for me over 13 years ago in active addiction. I got people in my house manipulating me. I'm still talking about loving you, and I'm fucking myself up. You know, and then about 3 weeks ago, him and my grandmother want to gang bang me in my house because I got a $600 light bill. And God is my witness. I told both of them, both of y'all can get the fuck out of my house.
There you go, clean house.
I'm talking about my 86-year-old grandmother. They was in my house trying to gang bang me. And you know what? And the cold part is that, you know, we talk about the guilt. You know, it's like I say that I've done the work. But why am I still operating out of a sense of guilt with my son? Why am I still babying him, treating him like a bitch? And I said I've come to terms with whatever I've done to him as a result of active addiction. Why haven't I really worked through that guilt? Why am I still holding on to that? You know, why am I letting people come in my house and do me any old way, knowing I don't owe them, but I'm not acting like I don't owe them? You know, and so as a result, I got this stress that's running through my body. Now, the gratitude I have is thank God it took my hair out because I could have had a nervous breakdown by now. So by way of losing my hair, what I come to find out is that there's some changes that need to be made. And as God is my witness, I swear to God that I would not leave here the same way I came. I mean, I have been in my hotel room, on my balcony, there is the beach. And I have been just sitting out there and I've been crying. And I've been just like thinking, like, what is it that what am I going to do? And then for the newcomer packet, it says, as we abstain from all drugs, we learn to cope with feelings that we've never dealt with successfully. Successfully. You know, and so I got these feelings now. And I don't know what to do with them. You know, but how about this? I already know what the defect is. It ain't the disease. Sometimes I go in a meeting, I go, my disease, it ain't my disease. I need to put a fucking name on that shit so I can recover from that which is trying to take me out. It's fucking fear. And I need to ask God to give me the courage to face that fear head on so that I can be the woman that God wants me to be. Because I've been given the tools, I have been given the people. You know, I have been given the support. There is no reason. You know, Tyrone asks me all the time, she always says it, if you say you believe, if you really say you believe, then what's up? What do you really believe in? You know, and let me say this because this is a short meeting. This has been a weekend for me, right? I did something totally different, and that was I put myself in a position this week where I would have to ask people for help. And that shit has been hard for me. Normally when I go out of town, I rent cars and I come and go as I please and I do my thing. I said, no, I'm going to ask for what I need. I have people around me that love me, they support me, and I'm going to ask for what I need. There is no reason for me to spend $100 and I got all these people around me. Ask for what you need. I don't know when this, in my mind, when it switched over. When I first got clean, there was 2 words I said, God help. I don't know when I made the transition to Kim help. I don't know when I made that transition. I don't know when that made a transition. And so the very thing that has been with me, the very power that has been with me, I have removed it. And I have been practicing self-sufficiency. When I'm in self-sufficiency, I fuck with the spiritual part of my program, and I have just put God out of everything. Right? So what happened was, I came down here. Steve said, I'll pick you up. I said, okay. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we're on a strip with all these hotels and there ain't no damn restaurants. I don't understand it. I don't understand why there's not a store in walking distance. I don't understand it, but it has been a process for me because I've been having to ask for everything I need, and that's been some uncomfortable shit. And you know what? What's even more uncomfortable is that when I don't get it when I want it, I get to either sit with it, pout and cry, or wish I had rented me a goddamn car. And for real, it's a good thing. I need to sit my ass still. And I need to know that everything is not at my beck and call and it's fucking okay. And I'm not sitting up here hungry right now. I mean, it really is okay. And like last night, post Steve, he went and took some people to eat, and then they was in the restaurant and I was ready to eat, and then here come Dave. They made chicken and greens and biscuits and macaroni and cheese. I'm like, okay, and I went over there and I had me a plate. Then I woke up this morning. Dave woke me up. He said, come get you some breakfast. I said, okay, but I've been like having to say like, okay, well, when are they cooking lunch, and when are they going to dinner, and is anybody going to the store? You know what I mean? Just to kind of fit in, you know. And so this whole asking for help thing has been like really, really, really huge. And y'all, I was listening to the speaker last night talking about how the suffering, you know, and I feel that with like all these blessings around me, you know, my kids could be doing drive-bys, you know, and you guys, I'm a single mother. They could be doing drive-bys. They could be doing so much. My son, he is struggling in 2 of his classes up at Iowa State, and they got a tutor that goes to to class with him and takes notes for him, and then goes back to study hall and teaches him the lesson again. And everything is paid for. I'm talking about everything. They are up there taking care of my kid. Everything is paid for, and then I slip and I say, like, okay, then I don't give myself the credit that's due. Let me say this, ladies, my bedroom door is not a revolving door for men. I have been clean 13 years, and my kids have never seen a man come out my bedroom door. Now, that don't mean I ain't been in somebody's bedroom. What I said was my kids have never seen a man come out my bedroom. Because I have a daughter that's watching me. And when she's ready to wake up, she going to see, I never saw my mama do that. I got 3 boys that are watching me. And they will get in a man's ass behind their mama. And so I don't create those situations because the men I be fucking with, they be done got in somebody's ass. For real. And so, I don't know. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really, there are some really important people in this room with me right now, right? And it was real important that I come in here and I say just that I said. Because it is it's time for me to quit fumbling around. And I'm not even talking about like writing and my sponsor telling me what fear looks like and what faith looks like and what courage looks like. I'm talking about after she tell me what faith looks like, then I start stepping out and I start walking in it. That's what the work looks like. The work is mine to do, Tyrone. And that's what the work does look like. That means that I start doing things that I don't want to do because it is the betterment of me. Recovery has afforded me the opportunity, the tools, and the people for me to become a better woman. And why I sit around here and I act stupid and retarded and want to stay in this invalid state of mind like a child. Just continue to operate a child. I'm talking about God has blessed me with a bunch of grown woman stuff, and I am still operating in the child in a child's mind. And that's why I feel so unbalanced. Because now I got to step up to my situations, and I don't want to. So now I got to ask myself, was I really ready for the blessings? Was I really ready for them? And so there's a whole lot of work to be done. I was talking to a newcomer today, and I was telling him 6 months. I said, dude, you got it easy. Dude, because the more time I clock on the clock, man, life gets real and real and real, and I'm learning things about myself now that has not been revealed to me in 13 years, right? I'm like, where the hell was this shit? And where this shit come from? Why am I just now looking at it now? And so I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm grateful that the committee asked me to come and share. My sponsor told me, don't you go nowhere without your literature. I said, right now, my ass is on the line. And there's some things I need to share that I just need to get that shit out of me. I need to get that shit out of me because I be on the phone with Dave every goddamn day, and I ain't never told him that I had my son smoking weed in my house. I ain't never said that to him, and I never said that to none of my friends. And that's some deep shit. I'm a fucking addict. And I used to like weed too. I be going out there smelling that bud, and I be trying to act like I don't smell that bud. That shit didn't smell good. Now they smoking some shit called dro. And I'm like, ooh. And I just said, but I don't smell it. I don't smell it. And y'all, that's some insane shit. And the reality is that when I'm insane, I cannot restore myself. Right. I cannot restore myself, and that's the reason why I've been staying so goddamn sick, because I have been unable to get myself out of this insane thinking that I've been in. I'm grateful to be here, and thank you for letting me share.
Right. Let's give Kim another hand. Let's give Bruce another hand. All right, we're going to keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. workshop is I started self-acceptance. If I only started loving me before I started loving you. Next up, we have Kim W. out of Austin, Texas.
Do your work, Kim. Yeah, yeah.
I'm an addict. My name is Kim.
Hi, Kim.
I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be clean. Whew. I have been feeling ever since I've been here. And last Saturday, October 30th, I celebrated 13 years clean. And for that, I'm really, really, truly grateful. I've been through a lot in this process. They say that this is a best to yet to come process, and I truly, truly believe that it is. You know, I was looking at the topic when Alexia had first given it to me, and I kind of thought, like, you know, I can do a lot with that topic. Like, if I would have started loving me before loving you, you know, I can look at that in the areas of dealing with men. I can look at that in the areas of dealing with my family. I can look at that in the areas of dealing with my friends. I could look at that in just relationships, period. You know, the one that's most prevalent, of course, is the area of men. Kind of what Bruce was sharing is kind of like I started this process when I first got clean. And I remember my self-esteem was zero. And I remember going to a meeting, and I remember this like real fine brother saw me from across the room. And I remember it was a full meeting that night, and the treatment center had brought us to the meeting. And I remember this brother went from across the room and brought me his basic text. And when he brought